The Nexus 6P is Google's latest pure Android phone, and it's an impressive device. It comes in at 5.7 inches, but it's squished into a frame that's the same size as the iPhone 6 Plus, which only has a 5.5 inch display. The first thing you'll probably notice is that the fingerprint sensor is on the back of the phone instead of the front if you're coming from the iPhone. It's a little confusing at first and takes a while to break the habit, but it's quite comfortable to use. It's also very reliable and fast, similar to the iPhone 6s. The only problem with it being on the back is that when it's in your pocket, you kind of set it off all the time because there's no button to press to wake it up. In general, performance is very good. There's no lag thanks to Android 6, and Google has done a good job of making sure that Android works really well on this phone. The most exciting thing about this new phone is that Google finally nailed the camera on a Nexus device. It consistently takes great shots, as you can see here, producing more vibrant colors than an iPhone can with very little effort. I've used a lot of Android devices in the past, but was never able to rely on a Nexus to produce consistently great photos. Sometimes it does struggle and wash them out when there's a lot of light, but a tap on the screen easily corrects that. In terms of video, it takes pretty great footage. It's just a little disappointing that optical image stabilization wasn't included. It feels like an oversight considering the heavy focus on the camera. It means that footage is a little bit more jerky, and when you're trying to take photos they can sometimes end up blurry. It's nice that there's 4K video, but this should have been included as well. On the front you'll find an 8 megapixel camera, which is great for snapping selfies or doing video calls as it produces very consistent light. In general, I was blown away by both cameras. It's a little hard to believe that Google finally included a great shooter in Nexus device, which is seriously making me consider switching. That metal back has a nice premium feel in your hand, and the screen is bright enough to even use in direct sunlight. You might find it a little bit big for one hand at first, but you do get used to it eventually. The Nexus 6P is finally a flagship worth the name, a pure Android experience with a very impressive camera that you can actually rely on. It does start at a pricey $499 for 32GB, but I do think it's worth the price. For all the details, check out the full review on the Nexus web.